Hello friends, here we are. This is the Medium's Harvest. This is day 10 and we are talking about mediumship according to Spiritism, which is different. The framework, the approach, the attitude, the proposal. Why? In the Medium's book by Allan Kardec, we're going to find 32 chapters as a manual for those who want to follow through the practice of Spiritism. What is the practice of Spiritism? It's first the inner renewal, and second, it's the sharing, service, learning, serving, learning, serving. Emmanuel, through Chico Xavier, repeats that statement throughout his messages, in many of his books. And if you look at the ocean, the sea, the movement is the same. Learning and serving, learning and serving. At each wave that goes in, the sea gets something from the beach to itself, learning. As it goes out, it gives to whomever is at the beach. Learning, serving, learning, serving. Like the breath, our breathing system. Breathing in, we intake. Breathing out, we let go. We share, we give out. In and out. In and out. So, we're talking about the movements of nature. Movements of life, movements of life itself inside of all of us. And here we have Emmanuel telling us this is our movement, learning and serving. And of course, learning not necessarily is an external thing, because we have everything that we need inside of us. We're extracting. But to really fulfill it, we need to bring it out and share. And that's why today, as a breakdown of these 32 chapters, items, 350 items of the Medium's book by Kardec, Emmanuel brings to us his dissertation, highlighting, clarifying, making emphasis on important topics regarding item 30 of the Medium's book, which talks about the fact that when we are in this practice, we're going to face people who do not believe. They don't believe. They don't believe in Spiritism. And Kardec discusses that we should not waste time convincing people if they're not ready. But if they are ready, we invest on the teachings, on the sharing. Like a student, please tell me more, please teach me more. And a good teacher will certainly do it. How about us? Shouldn't we do the same? And the Master of all Masters, Jesus, constantly sharing with us this natural movement of life, of giving, giving out, receiving and giving, receiving and giving. So I'm here connected through Kardec Radio with you, and we are not alone. None of us are. And we are here double checking the system. It looks like everything is flowing. Thank you for those who are helping us verify it. And chapter 10, while on a Spiritist task. Interesting. He is proposing to us to do something during that Spiritist task. What does that mean? The meeting occurred on February 5th, 1960. And we're reading to everyone just so we know that it's been 57 years, almost 60 years later, and we have this translation to you. It took a while, but we're ready now. embracing in the Spiritist doctrine the feeling of faith itself. Remember Jesus standing before the people whom he intended to serve. One does not find the Divine Master on a podium surrounded by those already convinced of the truth of his disciples, his principles. He is someone who walks amongst the crowd, a flame whipped by the windstorm of countervailing circumstances, a sublime tree beaten by the branches of incessant demands, one that does not see him surrounded by skillful collaborators, but rather by problems to solve, and brushing against the sick and anguished people who beg his assistance. All individuals who cross his path prevent divergent attitude, demanding Jesus' patience. John the Baptist doubts. Nathanael questions. Nicodemus inquires. Zacharias observes. Caiaphas conspires. Judas deserts. Peter denies. Pilate pretends. Antipas mocks. Thomas suspects. Despite it all, Jesus walks alone, imperturbable, like an unloved love, teaching and helping always. Likewise, you will find in almost all of your colleagues, in the organizations where you transit, opportunities to learn or to assist. At each step, you will find those who ask you for assistance, those who beg you for relief, those desperate for consolation, those who hope for understanding, and there will be no scarcity of those who challenge your patience, those who mock your ideals, those who complicate your schedule, those who cause you trouble, those who hurt your heart. Nonetheless, if you know the exact path, it is necessary that you help those who get lost. If you are balanced, you must help those who trouble you. If you stay firm, you must support those who are failing, who are falling. And if you have attained even a speck of light, you must use it to assist those who fail in darkness. In this manner, be not absent-minded as to the guidance common to us all, since the true Spiritist, when faced with evil, is invariably called to respond with good deeds. Ay, ay, ay. No, it's not easy. It's beautiful in the paper. But when we talk about these situations happening with us, it is hard. And we're talking about our guiding model. So when we are in a Spiritist task, who is at the command? Emmanuel clarifies here, Jesus. He is our supervisor. He is our model. He is our guide. He is the inspiration. So we model what he's done. We practice it like apprentices. But before we go on, do you consider Jesus as your coordinator in your personal life, in your life as a whole? Because our Spiritist practice is our lives. It's not like an appendix of it. It's the whole. So what do you think? What do you feel? And he talks about feeling. He says, embracing, first paragraph, embracing In the Spiritist doctrine, the feeling of faith itself, remember Jesus standing before the people whom he intended to serve. Because when we are practicing Spiritism, we're serving. But we can't lose sight of whom we're serving, because we know of Spiritist practitioners, mediums, past givers, speakers. They go home and they're like, can you believe those people? They are so disturbed, so obsessed. But you know, how can a doctor or a nurse work at a hospital and expect to go home and not see sick people? Inevitably, we are those who are also sick, but are operating, are being instruments of the true surgeons, to the true doctors. And we cannot go to this practice with this feeling of shock when we face the different levels of disturbances. Because that's the place where we're going to find it clear-cut. People go there to find a relief. We cannot expect that Spiritist centers or meetings, even the mediumistic meetings, that only superior spirits come and give counsel and advice. For Spiritism, mediumship is service. And service is not only bringing higher communications, but it's mostly reaching out to the majority of the discarnates who are in need of help. I'll give you an example. Andre Lewis repeats the math that is mentioned by Emmanuel in a book that is not yet in English, through Chico Xavier, Roteiro. In that book, Emmanuel talks about the quantity of discarnates and incarnates on the earth. Bringing to the present, André Luiz repeats it in other books, but irrespective of it all, majority of the inhabitants of our planet are discarnated. 2/3. And of these 2/3, 1/3 is of superior nature, in the sense they are taking care, helping the other ones. And then the other 2/3 of the 2/3 that are inhabiting the earth, the discarnates, the 2/3 of the discarnates, they are of our level and inferior. So they need help, like we need help. They need hospitals, therapy, etc. How can we get to them? The superior spirits do not invade the mental privacy, if I may say it this way. Because when we think we connect, they cannot hack our connections, our spiritual network. Superior spirits are not hackers. They are not invaders. They are not forceful. So they need us, who are closer to the discarnates who need the most because of the density of their spiritual body. They need us, the ones who are aware of their existence, the ones who are working as mediums, mediumistic groups, to be instruments of this operation, the rescue work. So in that regard, we need to prepare ourselves better, to be better instruments of this, in this cooperation. Remember in the book Thought and Life, when Emmanuel talks about one of the fundamental pillars in life, cooperate with God. God is operating. We are joining cooperatively, co-creatively. So you're allowed to create, because creativity is part of life. So we go there to a mediumistic meeting to serve. But Emmanuel is saying, if you embrace Spiritism with the feeling of your faith, then remember Jesus to understand whom you're serving. Because if I go to the Spiritist practice hoping to only talk to guardian angels, only talk to spirit mentors, and never see problems, I'm not going to bother helping this person. Come on, they should know better. No, that's not the attitude. Look at Jesus. How can we demand less work, less sacrifice, less, if Jesus gave us the model? What was the model? He says, no one is going to find the Divine Master on a podium surrounded by people who believe. What does that mean? That if we practice Spiritism only for Spiritists, we're not doing our job. No. One is not going to find the Divine Master on a podium surrounded by those already convinced of the truth of his principles. Why is Emmanuel saying this? Because he says, Jesus was someone who walked with the crowd. He was there talking to people and helping them, not necessarily to convince, proselytize, make them believe. He was there helping their needs. Jesus would fish with Peter. He could, every day, fill the net with fish and say, Peter, from now on, you're going to follow me, and every day, I'm going to bring the fish to your net. You don't need to do anything from now on. Open a business, and we're going to help the other people. With that money, we're going to help more people. That's Judas' mentality, not Jesus' mentality. And there are people who become Spiritists, and they have that mentality. They only talk to people that are Spiritists. They only help those who are Spiritists. They only practice their Spiritist message with Spiritists. And they refrain from talking to people who are not Spiritists. And if they do, they proselytize. They always find a way to create that imposition. That's not Jesus' way. Not even with the discarnates. For example, if a discarnate comes and does not believe in Jesus, should we tell them about Jesus anyways? Depends. If they come and they say, I was Jewish and I don't know about this Jesus. They're not against us, but they're just saying, don't tell me about Jesus because I don't believe. Okay, we're going to respect, like we respect incarnates who don't want to listen about that or listen to that. That is a Christian attitude. But to enforce fanatically, no, if you don't consider Jesus your Savior, you're not going to be rescued. That does not belong to the scope of the Christian Spiritist attitude. A flame whipped by the windstorm of countervailing circumstances. So that's Jesus. A sublime tree beaten by the branches of incessant demand. So he's constantly being demanded upon. Constantly. So we in the Spiritist Task, once we're there, people call, people ask, but it's not us. We're just the instruments. Jesus, the instrument of God. He doesn't see him. Jesus is not surrounded by skillful collaborators, but rather by problems to solve. When we read the book Good News, we know that Peter is rough. Now he became like a beautiful, soft, fluffy rock. But before he was a stubborn rock. And who was Judas? The ambitious disciple filled with vanity. Not prepared. James, faithful to the old tradition, embracing the new but still trying to find out a way to put the new into the old. When we read the Paul and Stephen book, we understand more of James. And here, Emmanuel tells us, even the closest ones, that's Jesus. He's not understood, but he understands. He's not loved. The unloved love. Do you feel unloved? You're not the first or the last person. But the question is, do we love? Because often, unlike Jesus, we're going to demand that the world understands us, that the world accepts us, that the world loves us, but we don't love, we don't accept, we don't embrace. But when we reverse it, then we understand Jesus. He is love that is not yet loved. But today, we love him. Or we are learning to love him. We don't want to label it. But now we recognize the supreme love that he represents to us. His love. Still unloved by billions in this planet. Today I was talking to a Muslim parent, adorable. She knows that Jesus was one of the prophets, but that's it. Respect, but don't engage into the commemorations of his coming. And that's okay. We don't need to go there with the expectation of, in each and every conversation, convincing. Because that's not what Jesus wants. He didn't come to say, if you don't believe in me, you're doomed. You go to hell. He said, I came because God sent me, the Father. I am an instrument, the pathway. Not saying that he was all there is. But he said, I came here to show you, to guide. That's why he said the path, because the guide shows the path. But do we accept the guide? Or we're still like, can you believe John the Baptist doubted him? It's the second message in this book that Emmanuel reveals that mishap in John the Baptist's program, in the way he performed. Though he had this strong commitment with Jesus. And this is us. Before we reincarnate, we commit. I'm gonna work in Spiritism to repair previous lives' mistakes, to help people that I created problems with da-da-dee-da-da-da. We come here and we're like, me? No, I'm too busy, too shy, too wealthy, too this, too that, and the other. Life goes on. A lifetime goes away quickly, goes by quickly. We discarnate, feeling guilty that we did not multiply the talent. Despite it all, Jesus walks alone and doesn't allow to disturb himself. We need moral resistance. Jesus is the guide of moral resistance. Where are you, friend? Where are you in regards, and I'm asking you and myself, let's ask ourselves, the experimenters, I want to ask us to ask this question. How is our level of moral resistance? And you may be asking, what is moral resistance? It's that inner faith, the solidity, the certainty that life goes on. That life is much more than the eyes can see. That we're not here temporarily. That we're not here to be at a podium talking to people who believe. We're here to reach out to even every person that we meet. We're here to share these teachings, but not as preachers, but as friends of one another. Like Jesus taught us. We are friends, and you see through Facebook, we're in this friends network. We share as friends. We share not because I know, because I'm reading the same book that you may read, and we're just sharing. The experimenters come and help us understand better. But we needed to keep flowing with the sharing. May it never stop on us. The light that is clogged creates an explosion. We don't want life to shake us up, to remind us the priority. If we have material bread and spiritual bread, we better give the spiritual bread because it's everlasting. Right, Carol Smith, Corey Smith, and Mark Smith? We were talking about this at the Spirit Side of Virginia today. So, likewise, you find in almost all of your colleagues, you see Emmanuel again is teaching us to bring this personal to us. So he's going to say, in your Spiritist task, during the exercise of it, you're going to almost always, all of your colleagues, opportunities to learn and to help. At each step, you'll find those who ask for your assistance. But do we listen? So tonight, Mentor Joseph at the Spirit Side of Virginia was sharing with us Kardec's concept in the Spirit's book. When we're not doing the good, what are we doing? Nothing? No. We're doing evil. Where there is no light, there is darkness. If we don't want darkness, we need to make light. Where there is comfort, there is no discomfort. Where there's discomfort, there's no comfort. The opposites. It's impossible to receive this much and stop and do nothing because the world doesn't understand us. That doesn't mean nothing. It means we are not doing the good. And when we are not doing the good, by principle, we name it. We're doing evil. So as Mentor Joseph said, if you spend your whole Sunday doing nothing, laying down at the couch or the hammock, drinking and laying down doing nothing, that's not nothing. According to Spiritism, that is doing evil. Why? Because we're not doing any good. One thing is to rest, another is to be lazy. Casimiro Cunha, in his books, the one we've studied, Gotas de Luz, Drops of Light, and the other ones he wrote, constantly he brings to us the issues of inertia, laziness, how it deters us from getting to do the good. There's a law of work. Be useful. But not once a week serving the homeless. Not once a month giving a talk. When you go watch a talk by a spiritist or non-spiritist, but an inspirational talk, what is the usefulness of it? Oh, Vanessa, he helps me, I love it. And then what do you do with that nourishment? Because the minute we receive that treatment, we were given opportunity to share. And I don't need to share extensively in a workshop, but in my daily life. I'll give an example. If I am at work, for example, once I was at work, and we were in the laboratory, and one of my colleagues, he had an accident and broke a part of an equipment. And then a lady came, another colleague, she was upset. And she was like, he always does something wrong, da-da-dee, da-da-da. But I was there and I saw it. And it was hard because she was so forceful. And I remember the spirit mentor telling me, Vanessa, be courageous. Help him out. You've seen that he didn't do anything on purpose. He was not careless. It just happened. So I was like, you know, it's not easy. You know, of course, sometimes we like to defend the person, but when we think we don't want to impose ourselves or create some embarrassment, so I said, you know, I was there and I tell you, he's such a good guy. He's never done that before, so let's give him a break, right? I included myself on it. She looked at me and I was like, shall we? I'm not going to lecture her saying, come on, Jesus said, dee-dee-dee, da-da-da. But that's when you have the courage to give a hand and not to be Pontius Pilate in our daily lives, washing our hands. We see people slandering others, creating lies about people. There are people who dislike people because they've heard stories and they've never proved it. They've never got a proof, and they start disliking the person without having ever met the person. That's called immaturity, childish behavior. Because we, the ones who believe in these teachings and know they are true, we don't buy into the stories of others and create tribes. My tribe versus your tribe. No, this is my friend and he doesn't like that person. I don't know that person, but if he doesn't like, I don't like that either. That doesn't make any sense. Because according to the teachings, we're all children of God. I may like this friend. He may have issues with that one, but there's no reason for me to block my way to that person. Create a tribe. And create these tribal feelings but we're still very tribal on the earth. And Pontius Pilate is the role model of what it is to wash your hands and do nothing in favor of others if it doesn't belong to my own interest. Saving Jesus that day was not going to make him win any points. On the contrary, if he attempted it, he would indispose himself before the Jewish community. He would have a hard time explaining to the Roman Empire. So he's like, you know what? I know nothing about it. It's not with me. If you say so, you the people, you're the ones to be blamed for. He washed his hand. And you know the end of the story, right? Read the book 2,000 years later by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, and we're going to see the end of those who wash their hands. It's not happy. One day guilt mounts, and that's when we open doors widely to those who don't like us. And obsession mounts, and problems happen. So Emmanuel says, who is going to be there? We need to help. He says, if you know the exact path, do you know the exact path? We know, right? Not because we're knowledgeable, because we were given this knowledge. It is necessary that you help those who get lost. But if they want your help, if you're balanced, you must help those who trouble you. If you stay firm, you must support those who are falling. By praying, by visualizing them well, and if they want our help, we go for it. Be not absent-minded as to the guidance common to us all. Since the true Spiritist, when faced with evil, is invariably called to respond with good deeds. People mistreat us. What do? Mistreat them? If I am a person who is mistreating others, I would probably like that somebody who has good balance and sanity forgives me, gives me a hand. Like Dr. Caper, his son, and others. In the book, the novel, Evangelho do Futuro, Gospel of the Future, not yet in English, by Dr. Bezerra de Menezes through the pseudonym Max. Forgiveness, proactiveness, true diligence and determination to do the good. We're going to wrap up this chapter by asking ourselves, are we determined to do the good? Because if we are not, when we don't do the good, we do not do nothing. When we do not do the good, we're doing evil. So friends, let's say hi to those who got in, hoping that they're still there. If you're not there, hi to you. Teresa Catapano, how are you, my friend? Teresa Castro. Yeah. You guys are reminding us of Mother Teresa, of Saint Therese, so many beautiful Theresas, plus you too. Pérola Bronze, how are you? We're thankful to you. Ceissa, Marisa de Melo, big hug, my friend. And Sunshine is here with us. Adilson is here with us. Andrea Torres, beautiful Andrea, how are you? Enilda, looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta. On the 10th, we're gonna be in the Christian Spiritist Center of Atlanta. They turned 20 years, we're gonna be there, talking about Jesus' pathway to self-love. You can join us if you are in Atlanta, okay? And the day before, we're going to be at the fraternal meeting blessed are the peacemakers. So, fraternalmeeting.org. Lisa Teles is with us. How are you? Beautiful Erica is with us. Rosaline Rosa, how are you? Nora, from Brazil, welcome. Where are you from, Nora? Silvia Otero, beautiful Sylvia. Natalie Louise, how are you? Is registration needed to attend the anniversary event this Sunday? No, not at all, Teresa. Our event this Sunday at the Wingate Hotel near our Spiritist Center. On Saturday at 6 p.m., we're going to have a special meeting at our center. And less than half mile away on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., our event is free admission. And we also offer, free of charge, lunch and coffee and tea and water, activities for children in parallel as well. And, you know, friends are going to come from Maryland, from New York, from Long Island. You know, Teresa, the Yes Group is coming here. And hopefully you join us too. Rudy's here. Grateful for you being here with us. Raquel, thank you for being with us. We were just there together at the center. And Patricia, beautiful Patricia, big hug to you and Tiago. Annie Mercia, we missed you. It's good to have you here. Our beautiful friend from Belo Horizonte, Brasil. Brasil, meu Brasil brasileiro. Célio, the baby, born, not yet. Please tell us, I've heard about it. And Adriana Monteiro, how are you? Nicinelli Vilarva, how are you? Paloma with us. What a joy, we were just there together. Angela Mate, how are you, my friend? Missing you from our beautiful Brazil, our connection with Joana de Angelis, Marisa, Carol Correa, Mark Smith, Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders. You know that Fraternity Without Borders now want to create a city of fraternity in Brazil. Go to the website, fraternidadesemfronteiras.org or fraternitywithoutborders.org, or talk to Angelita. Júlia Duarte, Emmanuel Design, how are you, my friend? And we have here more friends and more friends and more friends that probably I cannot see everything, but forgive me if I'm not able to see everyone. What's going to happen tomorrow? These teachings are teaching us to feel the scriptures. Tomorrow when we come back, God willing, be prepared, because Emmanuel is going deeper. He's going to analyze item 32 of the Medium's book. And he titles the chapter, Hunger and Ignorance. Ay, 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 ay. And I tell you, Emmanuel is superb. He says, teaser, huh? Anyone can help a hungry person. Rare are those, however, who can rescue someone from ignorance. Did you know it's that hard? I don't know. Let's come back tomorrow. Right, Adriana? Happy to watch. Thank you. So you can watch later. But send your comments, question friends, or send in anything. And if you want to help, come visit us. Participate in the event on December 3rd. Please come on in. Okay? Kardec Radio has a beautiful team around the world. You can always be part of it too. Thank you, Rihanna and Nico. Thank you, Animerce. A big hug of gratitude. Many blessings, friends. And let us not forget what Emmanuel shared with us tonight. Just to be with him tonight. He says here, wherever we are, hold on, Emmanuel, hold on. For us, the true spiritist, when faced with evil, is invariably called to respond. with good deeds. Big hug. Have a beautiful night or day. Until tomorrow.